Okay. I'd like to call the August 16, 2023 City Council Workshop for the City of Lake City to order. Ms. Gannon, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Jernigan?
Here.
Mr. Hill? Ms. Young? Mr. Sampson?
Here.
Mayor Witt?
Here.
Mr. Dial?
Here.
Mr. Kennon?
Here.
Chief Butler?
Here. Ladies and gentlemen, the Lake City Council has opened its public meeting. Since 1968, the city code has prohibited any person from making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks or becoming vulgar while addressing the city council. Yelling or making audible comments from the audience constitutes boisterous conduct. Such conduct will not be tolerated. There is only one approved manner of addressing the city council. That's to be recognized and speak from the podium. As a reminder, persons not to openly carry a handgun or carry a concealed weapon or firearm while the governing body is meeting. We're picking up on the budget. Tonight will be the enterprise funds. Y'all got anything before we get started?
That's right, just again, I'd like to thank the staff, for all their work and dedication for getting this balanced budget put together. And like I stated last night, we cut back on a lot of our, capital projects because of the rise in prices, which you'll see throughout this, especially on, maintenance and supply side. All of our chemicals and pipes, fittings and everything is anything from double to triple in the last year, so you'll see an increase in just about all of the maintenance accounts. But other than that, I'd just like to thank the staff for all their work in cutting that back as much as they could to get us to this point for the balanced budget.
I want to thank y'all, you and the staff. Last night went smooth. I think we did a good job last night. We'll move on. The first one is water sewer. First page is the revenue and expenditures. Anybody got any questions on that? Okay, we'll go into utility administration. Anybody got any comments, questions on utility administration? Pretty straightforward. Very consistent with last year. All right. Next is customer service.
Mr. Mayor, if I would, training from 750 to 2890. Just to know that customer service has been doing a very, very good job in customer service. So I hope that training keep up the kind of service that we're getting from customer service, because there's some very professional people over there, and I just want to let customer service know that how much I appreciate them, and to make sure that 2890 is being spent on good training, good customer service as well.
Yeah, they're kind of the front line. They get the accolades and the complaints. But I do want to say that our services and our ability to pay bills and all is improved. That's a lot better than it was. All right, we got anything else on customer service? Okay. Water treatment plant.
Mike wasn't able to be here this afternoon. But Mike had asked to add 10,000 for a whole barn. He had budgeted some for it, but based on the costs that have been coming in, it was estimated to come in over what he had budgeted originally, and was asking to add another $10,000 in the budget for that.
So it's in here now.
No, sir, we need to add it in.
He said he wasn't able to make it, sir?
No, sir.
They got questions about it and moved housing in the whole barn. Okay. And
Being Salt Lake.
we're just to water treatment plant. I was saying that I was wanting another 10,000 for the cost of the pole barn was higher than what you said.
Where would they place that pole barn at? We have to wait for Mike to come in to answer that question, or no?
Well,
I'm trying to figure out where would they put it at.
it'll be at the Price Creek Water Treatment Plant.
Yes.
We have a lot of equipment and things that we use out there, the mowers and different tractors and things. And basically, we're trying to do it within all of the departments, build pole barns, so where we can put the equipment under, it gets it out of the sun, gets it out of the weather, so we get a longer, there's less maintenance on the drying out the hoses, hydraulics and things like that.
Yes, sir.
And it's easier to keep them up. And it's just basically a way to keep them out of the elements so they last longer.
Thank you.
Would you just add that to the 15 that's on there for that, is that where it goes?
Yes.
Yeah. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
25. 25.
Anything else under the water treatment plant? Okay, next, the wastewater treatment. See, they have a shelter for the truck too. Anything under wastewater treatment plant? That's Good, we'll move to Sprayfield.
And if I could, Mayor, one of the things under infrastructure you'll see, is a big item is our new reservoir liner. That's for our 45 million gallon holding pond. The staff has done an excellent job for several years trying to keep this thing pieced together, and Mr. Pridgett's here tonight too, if you need any questions on it. But it's finally got it to the point to where it's not repairable anymore. And basically, if it starts leaking, it puts us in a compliance issue with the effluent leaking into the ground. So basically, we need to be able to replace this liner. We've been needing to do it for several years, but we've been putting it off, and the staff has done an excellent job of keeping it patched, but it's to the point now to where it's no longer being able to be patched. So that's why that big line item is there for that. That's the $603,000 for the reservoir line.
Okay. And the one above it, the 1.5 from DEP,
Yes, sir, that's a DEP grant.
You would have somebody come in to replace that.
Yes, sir.
So what y'all would do? They would pump it out?
Yes, sir, they have to pump it down.
they used to have a hayfield and pine trees. Anything else on Sprayfield? Next is water distribution and collection. The insurance is going up a lot in that department, from 48, 483 to 757.
Yes, sir, if I could, Mayor, what we've found out since Ms. Bible has come on board and with Mr. Scott, we found that a lot of our buildings, with him doing safety risk, we found that a lot of our buildings were not insured, and a lot of them were in the utility side. So that's why we had to turn all that in. That's for the increase of the insurance.
There's other insurance is not health insurance.
So when, Mayor, if I may, the crew leader, we went from 6 to 5, but we went to the superintendent, we went from 1 superintendent to 2, so I'm anticipating that he got a promotion, or she got a promotion, or?
Yes, sir. Basically what I do, I mean, Mr. Scott's here if he wants to elaborate, but what we ended up doing in the distribution and collection side is because you got the water side and the sewer side, which is the collection and distribution. And at the time, we had one superintendent that was overseeing both sides of it. And we do so much on the sewer side and the water side it was advantageous for, Mr. Scott to have a superintendent strictly over the water side and over the sewer side, with as many installations and repairs and things that we have to do. So basically what we did was going to eliminate one of the crew leader positions to add the additional superintendent position. And when that, after the, budget year, when it comes up, that position will be advertised to select someone in that position. That way we'll have two superintendents for it.
I like that idea, sir.
I only had one question about that. It didn't have much to do with the budget, but I see that cured in place pipe slip lining. Is that like that blue stuff that they blow through and it makes a pipe through?
It's basically what it is, they go in and they basically just coat and seal the inside of the pipe, pull it back out, that's basically.
That's some
what it is.
interesting stuff there.
You wanna elaborate on any of that, Brian, because we're actually doing some of, pipe curing in-house now that we've got the.
Oh, do we have a machine to do that?
What we're doing is, that's for most of the big liners that we can't do in-house there, but we are in the process of just, and we got our third one yesterday, where we pull in 8, 10, 12-foot sections instead of having to tear roads up, repair. We find cracks, our camera truck's constantly running every day, finding cracks and damaged systems. And we're able now to be able to pull these sections in place. We start with 4 foot and go all the way down the line. For small sections, not to get into like that cure in place, that's where we have to have a company come in and to do that for us. But this is gonna save us a lot of money doing it ourselves versus having companies come in. And they want miles and miles of pipe, so it's hard to get people to come in and do. We just want this manhole section done. So we're gonna get all our manhole, our split line and all that in place.
When this is put in, I mean, this, like if you put it inside galvanized too, or
It's mainly for Terry Carter, or plate pipe as they call it,
Okay.
Orangeburg, PC, it goes inside there. Now, they do have a form of it that does pour water, but that's a special company that comes in, 'cause they gotta make new taps, do this. But, so we go in there, and you can actually bust the pipe out around it, that liner will stay there, and it won't affect nothing. It's just as strong as that pipe was. They actually demo it with an excavator driving over it. But it's a pretty good product, like the new product we're doing ourselves, it's been great.
very good. Thank you.
Anybody else got anything on water distribution and collections? Water sewer construction. The improvements on St. Margaret's, are we pretty much improved it where it needs to be? I know we were doing it to get it back where it should be. We still have a lot to do, or we're pretty much good there.
We've got a lot of the big stuff done. Mr. Pritchett's here, he can give you an update on where we're at, but most of the big stuff, a lot of the big stuff has already been completed.
Yes, sir, we're on the last phase of the project. They're going to be starting up any day now on some sandblasting and painting of the tanks, and then we're going to replace the effluent pumps and get a new bar screen headroom and some of the implant piping and all that we're replaced. So we're in the last phase of that project. Should be done first part of the year.
Thank you. Now, anything on water sewer construction? Okay. Next is impact trust fund. I'll not do that. All right. Now, natural gas.
Are you on the next one?
Yeah.
Y'all already discussed everything else?
Anybody got any questions on the gas?
So, y'all already voted on everything? Not yet? No discussion? Is there still an option to speak? Still an option to speak?
Like anything on natural gas?
Nothing on that.
Next later.
Is there still, I still want to speak on a budget item. I want to speak on the budget item.
Okay, go ahead.
I wanted to speak on, public assistance. You have the, Chamber of Commerce, and I am requesting, equal amount for the Lake City Black Chamber of Commerce. We've been in business since, 2020, it's a nonprofit. We offer, mentorship to middle and high school career resources and alternatives to the traditional, college path. We try to promote entrepreneurship, so we would like the same, we pretty much mirror the Chamber of Commerce that you have here. So we're asking for the same amount, and if not the same amount, that you split that 30 and give it to us equally. There are a lot of things that the black community, business-wise, that we need, that we're not getting, and we don't get from the chamber. So we are asking, like I said, we had the Black Chamber since 2020. So we are asking for the same amount of funds, matching funds, but not split in half. We're asking for that in the project. That's one issue.
Mr. Mayor, I did speak to Mr. Dial about the Chamber of Commerce yesterday, and as well Terry Phillips. And one of the things when we had the Chamber director here yesterday, we pay for these events, but a lot of times it's city employees putting on the events. So my recommendation would be, after talking to them, that we not allocate that $30,000 to the chamber, instead put it under promotional events and allocate to whatever events come up. That way, you're not saying, hey, let's just give them a check and figure out they're gonna do the events, because one of the events that was brought to our attention was the fireworks. And we were told yesterday that the county was doing 15,000, which is not what they're doing. And also that, you know, we were the biggest part of it. But when you see the fireworks, it says fireworks by Nutrien. It don't say the fireworks by Lake City or Columbia County. So I don't think we're getting a bang for our buck there. I know a lot of these events that we're sponsoring, Christmas Card Lane's a good example. They use our money for that, but we also send staff to do the work, I believe. Is that correct? So to me, I think if that was in that other bucket of promotional events, then it would go more to when an event comes up, then it could have the same process for an application and then already have the funds available for whatever events are, not limited to the chamber, but to whatever event it is to be done, whether it be cultural, like the multicultural event they were talking about, or whatever event. And I think too, having an application for events, and I know Terry's working on it, I don't know if she's here today, but she has an application for events. I think that would make more sense to have that 30 added to the 20 already, because if you go back before we did this, you know, one, they requested a 5,000 increase, but we're just not getting the bang for the buck we were getting before.
And just to step in, the Black Chamber, Lake City Black Chamber of Commerce, we also do fireworks for Juneteenth. We do the Juneteenth parade, the MLK parade. Those are events that you can actually see and that you will actually be able to put your hands on and see that we're spending this in week. That's why we're asking for this money. Unlike the chamber, not pointing the finger at the chamber, but you can actually see us put on those events. A lot of you are participating in those events.
I think what Mr. Sampson's saying though is we're gonna just put it in the budget as a one amount, but not designated to anybody tonight
So be open to multiple.
and with applications.
Okay, so, you're saying if you put it into that promotional events, we can apply for it just like,
Right.
like the,
One thing I noticed too in the budget, we also in another spot, we pay a Chamber of Commerce fee, you know, to be a member. And I don't know, you mentioned the other Chamber of Commerce, I don't know if the city's a member of that Chamber of Commerce,
the city.
but it might be something that they should become a member.
Absolutely.
Well, I sat up here last night when the Chamber of Commerce, you know, asked for that $30,000. I didn't say anything, but it didn't rest with me too good. Simply because, like I say, the city was asking $15,000 for fireworks, $10,000 for a beer and wine festival. Yet, when people like the young lady came up here the other night to did a presentation on the building back there, she is not asking not one dime from the city. Only thing she's asking is for the building and it to be brought up to code. Everything else she's is willing to do. Now, saying that to say this, the Chamber of Commerce was asking for $30,000. And for what? Like Mr. Sam said, we not getting the bang for the buck. That's $30,000 for entertainment. For entertainment, nothing to benefit the city, just for entertainment. But this young lady is asking for something that's going to benefit the community. And another building downtown, which people fill up this council chamber against it, but the city is still on the hook for this building here, and it was no problem getting the money that they wanted for that building.
And the Black Chamber is not just in entertainment, those are certain things that we put on each year that you actually can see, but we also are trying to foster entrepreneurship. That's what the chamber is about. It's about business. We have Mason down the street, 16 years old with his own store, clothing business. You know, that we should all be trying to promote everybody to go down there. He's 16 years old with his store. When he get out of school, he go down there, open his clothing store. You know, he could be in the streets doing whatever. So we have to get these kids, and that's what the Black Chamber is doing, is teaching them, hey, listen, you can start a business. It doesn't matter your age. You have people trying to mow grass, but that's just, you know, one of the things that people do. But you have him with a clothing store, actual clothing store, but kids don't know things, and then you also have to educate them on, if you can't do college, everybody can't do college. There's a traditional route. We got HVAC, we got electric. We have to teach these kids. That's one of the goals of like entrepreneurship. Audrey and I was just talking, and we were like, hey, we need to get to the high school, we need to get to the middle school, so we can try to catch them younger and tell them, hey, listen, these programs are out there. A lot of people don't know what HVAC is, they don't know what, real estate, they don't know if they can get into real estate, they don't know about welding, plumbing, electric, even if the girls doing hair, culinary, there's a lot of people making money doing this. This was $110 right here in 2 hours. So, you know, we have to promote these kind of skills and a lot of stuff that people have, but we're not promoting them. They think if you don't go to college, you're gonna work at an $8 job. That's not necessarily true. They can do nails, they can do hair, they can do everything. Like I said, HVAC. That's a dying trade. You don't have to have people going in HVAC. They don't even know about stuff like code enforcement. It's hard to find code enforcement, people that don't have the knowledge of the water sewer system. I got one person in White Springs, he's the water and the sewer, because you can't find too many people for one with those type of licenses. But guess what? A lot of people don't know those licenses exist. So it's up to us in the community to go out, reach out and teach these people. So it's not just about fun and games. And yeah, it's not just about entertainment.
I'm glad you spoke up, and I'm just reading something about it says the Black Chamber of Commerce. You know, I'm all in favor. If we give it to one, we should give it to the other. If we don't give it to one, we shouldn't give it to the other. Not only that, I don't want to just give that money away. I want to see it tracked. $2,000 went for fireworks, or $2,000 went for programs, or whatever the case may be. I want to see it. Yes.
We've been spending our own money, so
Yes.
I got good record keeping on that money.
So I'm all in favor of giving you that whatever we gave for the chamber. I think it should be 50-50. I really do. And again, as long as the records are there and that money is going. Matter of fact, I think Mr. Sampson said something one day about you know, you put on the event, you let us see it, and then we pay for it or something like that.
Like that's what it would be. So,
yes.
And that's why I say take that 30 from the chamber line and put it into that promotional event, so it's available for all different events.
Yes, and I'm gonna agree with that.
Okay, Ms. Young's here. Ms. Young, we kind of went through everything. Is there something that you want to bring up before we?
No, sir, it's not, and I do, I guess I really can't apologize because it's something I had to have taken care of. But no, sir, I can't think of anything.
I just wanted to give you that opportunity.
I appreciate it.
But as far as what you're saying about the chamber, I think we're gonna just do it by programs.
So you're gonna change the whole policy, so you're not gonna give to the Lake City Chamber.
That's correct.
And what was that application process, and what would be the criteria?
We haven't got that far yet.
Okay.
We're just doing that now.
All right, and the other, issue I have is, Columbia County Youth and Basketball in Florida, Football Association. You took that 30,000 and you put it to an undesignated program?
Right, just what we're
Mr.
doing,
Mayor.
talking about right now.
We actually bumped that up to 100,000 to the undesignated programs.
Okay, so it's 100,000, and what I'm asking for that is, I'm asking for money for animatics, because animatics has the facilities and the facilities and the staff. We can get staff with this, we can host youth programs, youth basketball, cheer, we need helmets, pads, we can have mentoring programs, cooking, drama, other things that programs are not offering. A lot of programs that the other people are offering is geared towards boys. We have little girls out there, they can do, like if you have, like I said, the mentorship for the hair, and then you have cooking. You need to have arts, something that fosters the arts. We don't do anything, we don't have anything for that. And Animatics is prepared to host those type of events. We just need funds in order to do things for our children.
So part of what we talked about last night with that as well was making it like a reimbursable on programs. And so that would be right in line with what you're saying. So we had talked about bumping that up from 30 to 100. But we did, previously remove the football and basketball, so that 30 had been moved there. So it added 70 to it. I think this council, from every meeting we've talked about funding programs. I think we also talked last night about having some kind of mechanism to decide what kind of programs, what direction we need to give staff so they're not confused by it. And that's one piece I know we don't have in place yet.
So that's what we're saying, we're just budgeting that tonight. We've still got to set up the criteria for the applications and all that, so staff knows.
What I'm afraid of is that we're gonna get left out some kind of way. It seems like we always get left out. If we're not placing them specifically, animatics get left out, a certain population get left out, and that's what I'm afraid of. And that's why I'm here speaking for that. That's why I was speaking for the Black Chamber. That's why I'm speaking for animatics, because we always get left out. What happens is, we've already promised these funds to this program, or we've already, designated these funds to here, and we get left out. It seems like it is not designated for us, we lose out. Because somebody will always say, somebody else has already applied for them. And it may not necessarily be true, but we always get left out. And that's why I'm here now with wise budgeting, so we can get the funds that we need to operate these programs and serve the community.
And I do understand what you're saying, and I just pray that we all have eyes that we will broaden our view and make sure that this doesn't happen. And we have to be specific that this is organized programs. We will have people who will just come up with a program, but they must be organized programs. And I just believe that this council is going to take the initiative to make sure that there's an equal, for lack of a better word, amount going out to these organized programs. We're not gonna look at any specifics. We're gonna be fair across the board.
If you don't look at, how will they be advertised? Because oftentimes, it was told word of mouth, we don't get the information. And that's what I'm saying, we always get left out, we don't get the information, so now, it was advertised, it was in this format that we don't get. And I just wanna make sure it's fair across the board, that's why I'm asking, because y'all already know stuff. Why y'all didn't apply for this? Who knew? Nobody knew.
Well, that's why we got to, we don't have the criteria yet. We gotta set it up.
We gotta set the criteria,
Correct. And
so,
when we do, we need to be fair about letting everybody know about it.
what methods will you use? You don't know?
Not tonight.
Mayor, if I
And
could
Uh-huh.
maybe suggest something. Because, the council stated, that they want to have, feedback and they want to have the ability to be able to, decide on some programs that they want. My suggestion would be to maybe the council, come up with some programs, maybe individually, and send them all in so they can be put together, what maybe the council is looking to fund or want to do for the community. And then it can be sent out to the organizations for them to look at and for them to pick and choose on the stuff that they want to do. And then it could go through like an application process to put together for like whatever programs, say Animatics wants to do, and then bring it back before the council for funding that way.
I think that's a great idea. What I don't wanna see happen is that a program, is set up and parents are paying for these young people to attend, and then the city turn around and pay it again. I just think that's not fair. It is not fair to the parents, it's not fair to the children. When the city, allot these funds, it's the city's portion, it's the taxpayers' money.
Correct.
So we're paying that these events get carried out. Don't turn around and tax the parents.
And I agree, that's why I said we have an accountant, we have no problem turning over our financials, so that we can see exactly what your dollar will do. Also, like I said, it's not profit, it's not like we're making any money, we just need some assistance. A lot of things that didn't go on this year is because financially we were tired of coming out of our pocket. It's just, it's stressful trying to do fireworks and trying to do a parade and trying to provide for the community certain, things, because we don't have anything fortunate. We don't get anything fortunate. And Mr. Dial, I like your proposal. The only thing I disagree with is this, and this is what tends to happen, just like with the garden club, not to point fingers, one end get done real nice and pretty, and the other end get scrapped. And that's what I'm afraid of, just like with the funds, if you don't designate on the north end of downtown, you got $500 to spend, and you got $500 to spend, because they spend $1,000 here and $100 here. We had a wreath over there from the cemetery, seemed like, for Christmas. That's the only issue with that, is because people gonna get preference, and it's not gonna be us. And if you can put in the application, well, somebody else got chosen, somebody else got chosen, somebody else got chosen. That's what I think is gonna happen, or where we only have this amount of funds left. And it happens, we see it, we can see it just with the sign. We see it with the sign. Look how it's maintained. That one got nice flowers and everything. This one got some hedges. I don't even know if they didn't even plant any of the stuff that they do there. And then when they decorated Christmas time, we already know. Y'all see the difference. I mean, it's obvious. That's what I'm saying. We can't just say, okay, it's gonna be a fair process, because time has shown us that it's not a fair process. We can say in theory, oh yeah, everybody's gonna be the same across the board, but it's not. It never has been. And if we keep pretending, it's never going to be, because we're pretending that it is. Just like we're pretending that these signs are equal. These signs are not even equal. The downtown area is not equal.
And Ms. Vanessa, if I may, Mayor, is okay. If I may, I want to say this. When I say across the board, I don't mean this organization got 500, so this organization get 500.
I know.
This organization may already have, like the children say, they are maybe already stacked. And then this organization may be just kicking off. And we shouldn't expect people to come out of their pockets, out of their personal monies. I just don't believe that. And we're gonna do the right thing. We're gonna do the right thing.
Well, you say.
Now I'm concerned about the criteria, because that's a tough thing to set a criteria as to how are you gonna fund this money for these projects, these events. That's a tough thing. So I'm kind of nervous about that. But we have to start with something. We gotta work with something. And council, it's gonna take work. It's gonna take it.
Well, tonight we're here mainly on the budget, and we decided to not designate that tonight, and so we'll have to set criteria so we can do it. We do need to address the fire assessment and make a decision, not a decision, but a recommendation to staff. Where we're gonna go with that. We had picked scenario 1 for the advertisement. So what's everybody's thoughts on that last night?
You wanna get the chief up here? Can the chief come up and talk about it here? Chief, thank you for your hard work and effort. And the way you explained it, I mean, it was perfect. And I'm all in favor of section 1, you know, so I mean, you can explain it to us. I just want the constituents that's watching this to know that this is something that had to be done. It was a need, it wasn't a want. We've let it slide for several years now, and now it's come to that time where we have to do it. So I just want the constituents to know that the chief of the fire department said this must be done. So you can explain it to us again and to them, but I totally get it, I understand it, okay?
I appreciate that. So yes, and we're not asking for extra, we're asking for this, our current budget, and even in the past, to be covered, so that the general fund doesn't have to supplement the way that it has. We've gone 6 years without increasing this. So, and at this point, to cover our, what the general fund is supplementing, we're asking for an extra $5 a month. And yes, at the end of the day, at the end of the year, it adds up to $60 total dollars for the year. But we currently pay $21 a month for fire protection. We added $5 a month would increase your total bill to $311 at the end of the year, which is an increase of $60. And that fills in the supplement that the general fund is covering at this point.
Anybody got any comments, questions?
I mean, you keep saying that, you know, it hadn't been done in the past, but it seems like now all of a sudden it needs to be done. But my thing is, the council, the way it looks now, I think that's why that's where a lot of the pressure is coming from. Where this council is, in the past, it looked different, so we're gonna kick the can down the road further. They're gonna kick the can down the road further, so this council look like it looks now. So it's gonna look like this council here is raising taxes.
I totally see your point, but this is my first year doing a study, so I can't say what has happened in the past. But I do know that every 2 years, the study has to be done. And it hasn't been increased, it hasn't been decided to be increased for 6 years. So I don't know what the decision or why the decision or how it was made, but we're at a point, the county did the same thing. They waited 6 years before they increased theirs. Last year, they increased it $50. This year, they increased it another $15. So everything, the cost of everything, just like Mr. Dial, when we started this whole conversation, everything has increased. Last year, we doubled our fuel budget. Everything has increased. The cost of living, the cost of buying materials, everything. So I feel like we're at a point. It is totally up to you. I'm just presenting where we're at, the budget and the supplementation from the general fund. So it has to be presented. So that's where we're at.
Okay, and the budget, the way it's presented now is scenario 1.
Correct, and that's $60 total increase, which would raise to $311 total for the year.
All right. Anybody got any comments? If not, that's what I guess we'll do. Thank you very much. Well, we've covered the budget, anything anybody else has got before we wind it up?
I would like to, their prices have gone up, everything has increased in cost. And I don't like increasing taxes, and I'm sure no one else does. I just want us to get to the place where we know what's best for the city. And we keep saying, kicking the can down the road, the can has been kicked down the road, nobody didn't do taxes the last couple of years, but it's crunch time now. And we're in a predicament now where we have to do something. And I just want us to be mindful that we want to do what's best for the city. I think coming up to today, to 2023, decisions were political. And I just want us to get out of that. And let's just do what's best for Lake City in all our decision making, in these taxes. It just hurts my heart that especially senior citizens get a letter in the mail and see that their taxes are being increased. We're in there hard to making ends meet now. That bothers me. But as we're here and as we stated, that we know there has to be an increase. And we just have to keep it to as minimum as we possibly can. My concern is the senior citizens and some others, even some youth who are barely making it because of increased prices, cost of everything. I'm just a firm believer, I don't have to raise things because other things are being raised. If we had been consistent in the years to come, we wouldn't be with our back against the walls now. So I want this to be a learning lesson for us, that when we make a decision, if we had been doing cents, even if it was just cents, adding cents to the taxes, we wouldn't be here now where we have to make increase in these dollars. So let us just be mindful of that. It's sad.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
So I have a comment on that too. I kind of disagree with that the past has kicked the can down the road, because the scenarios all fund the same amount. It's how much comes out of ad valorem, which we already have in the general fund, or how much comes from the new fire assessment. So whether they pay $252 or $311, the fire department's funded the same amount. It's just, does $325 come out of the general fund or $638? That's the difference. So as you make that decision, you've got to determine what's the best decision. The recommendation from staff is $311. It's not always the best decision to raise taxes. In this economic environment with inflation what it is, it's going to be difficult. I mean, you go anywhere, you're paying more money. Whatever the budget is, we'll cover it. There's funds to cover it. That's why you have contingency. That's why you have the ability to do it. That's up to each person here to make that decision. That's why we're elected to make that decision. To say it's been kicked down the road is not correct, because even now we're not funding $325,000. So the budget's never covered the whole fire department. Going back as far as probably as the mayor's been here, I don't think it's ever happened.
Well, the exempt property, we have to pay out of the general fund. So the $300, we have to pay it every year. But like you say, it has to, it's all coming out of the taxpayers, no matter how we do it.
Either way, the taxpayer's paying for it.
Exactly. We don't have any money ourselves. It's all coming from the taxpayers, whether it's in assessments and property taxes and sales taxes or gas taxes or whatever. They're paying for us to provide services, and services do cost, and the prices are going up. All right, anybody got anything else? No, that's for a motion to adjourn.
Mayor,
Second,
Is someone's talking about?
Mayor,
yes,
I just want to make sure that we're clear. Are we going with scenario one, or?
that's what my understanding is
Okay.
because that's what the budget says, we have to change.
Thank you for the clarification.
Okay.
So move, ma'am.
Okay.
Have a good day.